Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Cambo Campbell.
How come I get a nickname but you don't, Nelson?
Because the truth is, I got nothing to funny say here. Because Nelson's just not a good nickname type of name.
Yeah.
A name to make a nickname of.
Yeah.
I get
Nelly.
Nelly.
Yeah, Nelly is probably the closest.
I get Nels. But no one, probably my family calls me Nels the most. But even then, it's like, just doesn't feel this good.
No, the real problem I actually think is your last name, because my nickname is not my first name.
That's true. Mm-hmm,
but Allingham, Allie, Hammy, it's...
You could call me Hambo.
Cambo and Hambo.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's interesting.
That's actually pretty good.
Okay, this is very interesting.
I take it back. I've got the best last name. We're going to have to rebrand everything. Oh, no.
You become Hambo and I'll go back to being Michael.
Yeah, that's true. Couple of things I wanted to mention.
Sure.
The first is last week we released some really terrible audio. And at the start of that episode, we joked about that we didn't know how the audio quality was going to be.
Yeah. We
joke about it, but I feel like we need to say we actually feel quite guilty and bad when it does happen. We don't intend for it to happen. We don't want to release episodes with bad quality audio. So much so that as a wedding gift, you got me a new microphone.
Yes.
So we are recording remotely at the moment, which hopefully you haven't picked up on.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the dream is right now you're like, whoa, I would never have known.
What? This is crazy. Yeah. So we're recording remotely again. I do really appreciate that you got me this mic. Ellen's a little bummed. Obviously, that this is the wedding gift.
She can use it too.
She can use it. I've told her she can use it. Although, if I'm being honest, probably a better wedding gift would be if you did a podnapping for me. So,
well, that would have been good, but I already got you the microphone, so
yeah, I can take it back. So we apologize about last week.
Yep.
And we really hope this is proof maybe that we're trying to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's proof that even we looked back at what we did and went, oh, that's not okay.
No. Oh, no. This is not good. And we would have actually re-recorded.
Yeah.
We just literally had no time.
In any other circumstance, we've done it before where we've done something quite bad and gone, oh, we need to redo that.
Yeah.
And that's fine, except for this 1 week. Yeah, literally there was no other chance.
And we can't miss
I mean, there was one other chance, but again, your wife wouldn't have been happy at your ceremony if we had it ducked off.
Yeah. It would just be 45 minutes.
We try and keep it 45 minutes.
We try and keep it 45 minutes is what I would have told her. Anyway, let's get into it, Cambo. This first Reddit on Reddit was cross-posted to us by Cynic728. And it was in the subreddit stories, but it was originally by Tully Nix. Okay. My husband's bowels staged a coup after he tried to eat clean for 3 whole days. You know how some couples bond by working out together or meal prepping or doing morning walks? My husband and I bond by playing daily games of what new food item will betray his digestive system today. This week's installment began when my husband, 40 male, decided he wanted to clean up his gut. Now, this is the same man who once deep-fried a Pop-Tart because he wanted to experiment. The same man who thought taking a fiber supplement and eating 20 chicken wings was balance. So when he suddenly started Googling things like gut health and low FODMAP recipes, I got nervous, real nervous. For 3 days straight, he only ate boiled veggies, brown rice, and something that vaguely resembled tofu but had the texture of a wet Band-Aid. Then he added a chia smoothie, because why not throw a gallon of jelly seeds into a system already on strike? Fast forward to night 3. We're in bed. I'm half asleep. He turns to me and says, "Babe, my insides feel like they're gentrifying." I ask what that even means. He responds by letting out a fart so long and complex it could have been an orchestral overture. I'm talking crescendo, movement changes, and a final brass section that set off the carbon monoxide detector. I left the room. The dog left the room. Even Alexa asked if we wanted to call emergency services. The next day, he started clutching his side like he was in a Shakespeare play and announced that he might have a twisted colon. Not a real diagnosis, just vibes. So he goes to the gastroenterologist, and after several tests, scans, and what I assume was a high-stakes round of name that smell, they confirm IBS with lactose intolerance and mild food sensitivity to everything he loves. Great. He comes home looking like he lost a custody battle with his own colon. And instead of being careful, he takes the new list of safe foods and decides that moderation is just a polite suggestion. He eats an entire tub of hummus, half a watermelon, and what I'm pretty sure was 3 servings of Brussels sprouts, all in one sitting, like a goat. That night, he transformed into a sentient whoopee cushion. I had to Google how to safely open windows during a storm just to survive. At one point, I honestly thought the walls were breathing. And then came the great yogurt incident. I told him kindly to avoid dairy. He nodded, smiled, said, "I got this." Then I found him in the kitchen at 2 a.m., double-fisting Greek yogurt and shredded cheddar cheese like some kind of protein goblin. He looked me in the eyes and said, "The probiotics cancel the dairy." That's not how science works. That's not how anything works. Long story short, he's now grounded from unsupervised grocery shopping. I've removed all dairy from the house, and he's only allowed to have tofu if I'm watching. Also, the dog still won't sleep in our room. He has PTSD from last Thursday's cheddar hurricane. Marriage is beautiful, but sometimes it smells like death and poor decisions.
You know, I guarantee you what I'm about to hone in on is not the angle I think you thought I was going to go.
Okay.
Listening to you read that, having seen enough of it in the past, there are quite a few indicators to me that this was at least partially written by AI.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like tells that AI always does, like they love analogy. AI writing loves analogy, and every single section that had like this,
another analogy
every single time. I think the story's probably true, but they probably said, "Hey, this happened to my husband. Can you write a funny Reddit post?"
Yes, I think that's what we've become now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, I've got this thing that I want to write about it, but I'm a terrible writer.
Yeah.
So if you could please just sort of zhuzh this up. It's the joke of like AI talking to AI systems. You know,
yes.
That it had happened, but they didn't realize that we were the catalyst between the AI systems. Pretty funny. I think I'm confused that his healthy diet of boiled veggies, brown rice, and tofu went so poorly.
Well, it could be like
also have a chia smoothie.
That shock to the system. It's like where they say like, you know, like people, if you're really, really dependent on alcohol, it's actually bad for you to completely cut it out all at once.
Okay,
because your body will go into shock.
Yeah.
So you need to lessen and lessen and lessen over time. That's like with very severe alcoholism.
Yeah.
And it could be the same thing. Like your body is just like, it is learnt to function in a certain way.
Yeah.
It starts getting clean stuff. And it's like, oh, wow.
We don't know what to do with this. Deep fried in here, okay? This is no good.
Your body has learned to live off the energy of deep fried Pop-Tarts. This brown rice is not going to cut it.
I mean, I respect the deep fried Pop-Tart attempt. You know, everybody has to experiment.
Yeah.
At some point in their life. That's how genius happens.
Yeah, it's
Remember,
like
we experiment with stuff, we come up with better things.
But do you think part of this is the same thing happens if people like go on a cleanse or like start a specific like gym challenge or routine or something where the first week you feel awful.
Yeah.
But it is your body just being like, oh, let me get rid of all the all the shit in your body that you're gonna need to cleanse now. Like, like the cleaning part of your body does suck, and I wonder if like that had kicked off this feeling awful thing, and the actual diagnosis of his unhealthiness is just because he went to the doctor because he was feeling bad, but then they were like, oh, by the way, though.
Yeah. Yeah, could be true. I think, though, there's something that I hate in this so much, which is, I don't know if people... It's not a widely known thing, I think, but a diagnosis of IBS is actually a I forget the phrasing, but it's a diagnosis of not being able to diagnose something.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so when they don't really know what is affecting your stomach, what you eat, they can't identify the specific thing. A doctor would just say, "Oh, you've got IBS." IBS doesn't mean anything.
So is IBS? Is it just a doctor being like, "I be stumped"?
Yeah,
I be stumped.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
then someone's like, "You can't go in there and say I be stumped. You need to make it sound more medical." All right, we'll call it IBS.
We'll call it IBS, and I guess we'll make up some other acronym that makes sense. Yes, irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah, like people will be like diagnosed, like, "Oh, yes, you've got IBS," and then later on they'll work out like, "Oh, actually, you've got a fructose intolerance," and fructose is in everything, so it's a diagnosis of not being able to diagnose something, which will probably be argued, I think, by doctors who
listen to this show, perhaps.
But listen to this show, only because it's like, if you're a doctor and you diagnose somebody with IBS, then you've got to stand by the fact that it is something, But I spoke to because I've gone through this. I'm lactose intolerant myself, and also when I had gout and things like that, I went to I went to a few different doctors. One was like a nutritionist specialist kind of thing as well. And I even said to him, I was like, I think I, could probably, maybe I've got IBS sometimes, a bit gassy, more than the lactose intolerance that I've got. And then he was like, let me tell you something about IBS, all right?
So either you are saying something that maybe some medical professionals don't want to admit to, or your doctor is a crackpot. IBS isn't real. We made it up.
Yeah.
And you don't need a vaccine for COVID. It's all fake news.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, I had two different doctors in the same period of time that told me the same sort of thing. And they're like, it was like a secret. They lowered their voice. And they were like, well, the thing is, we actually just say that sometimes when we've got no idea. Anywho, all right, let's move on, Akemba, and get into Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit was cross-posted to us by Dumbitch 1998. But it was originally by Foxtrot Radio. What's your "we really didn't think that through" story?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Look, I think we do have one, but it's one that we've told on this story, on this podcast many times before, I feel.
Yeah.
Which is when we rented what was sold to us as a fire detector proof smoke machine.
Yeah.
Which is true. The fire detector was not what evacuated that building that day.
Yeah.
It was blocking the airflow in the air conditioning system when you put smoke in it.
Yeah, when you put it in a closed
Yes.
room with no ventilation, well, coincidentally, into the ventilation system.
Yeah, we're in the ventilator.
That's a problem.
And it was one of the moments of clarity when the alarm started going off. We both were like, oh.
This makes sense. Yeah, it does. That's about that. I have some more here for. Oh, you know what? Actually, I've got one that just happened.
Okay.
It's sort of not quite the same thing. It's slightly. I didn't think it through. I'm going to say that it was because I was tired and not really thinking about it. But just yesterday, no, the day before, I get back from our trip. We're in Western Australia. It's 2 hours behind us. We're 2 hours ahead over in Melbourne. And the night that we got back, I just had in my head, I was like, I'm going to try and reset my body clock. So I'll stay up as late as I can before going to bed. And then it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I was like, wait a second. If I go to sleep now, I'm going to wake up really late in the day tomorrow. And that's going to fuck my body clock. And I was like, I was meant to do the opposite.
You meant to go early.
I was meant to go to bed earlier. And I totally screwed it up. I even stayed up like an extra couple hours because I was like, well, I've committed now. So it made it even worse. I was up to like 3 a.m. in the morning or something. I was like, oh boy, I'm really going to have to try and iron this one out tomorrow. So that was a pretty stupid thing that I didn't really think through. Like I just needed like an extra second to be like, Nelson, just think about this.
Yeah. Just absolutely think about the time differences that you have just adjusted to on the other side.
Yeah.
And did you do the same thing there? Oh, you did? You should have done the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, okay. Here's some comments, some stories from people. This one's from Rewind Records. I was tidying up my kitchen when I found my EpiPen trainer. I absentmindedly jammed it into my thigh and found out it wasn't the training pen. My heart rate skyrocketed and I paced around outside debating on going to the ER. I don't remember how long I thought I might die walking around in those little circles. That is crazy. I didn't realize. Did you realize that EpiPen trainers were a thing?
No, it makes sense. Again, now that I think about it.
Does it? I don't.
Yeah, especially if you're younger, like you need to learn kind of how to inject yourself, I would assume. So it makes sense.
Maybe they're more complex than I thought they were.
Yeah,
maybe that's why.
If someone said, "Hey, put this EpiPen. Do you want a quick practice first?" I would go, "Yeah, give me a quick practice."
Do I just jam it into my thigh? And they're like, you've
done this before.
You don't need the practice. Okay, that's what I mean. It's got to be more complicated than that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I had assumed it would be something you would give a kid to help them with the idea of shoving something into their leg.
Yeah,
like, see, it's not so bad. You just press that against. Yeah.
Yes. I guess so.
I've actually skipped down a few and found one I like. From a cynical optometrist. Said, I named my son after my husband. Having the same name can cause problems with documentation and mail in the IRS.
Yeah.
So, I guess not adding junior to the end of it, if her husband had passed. The IRS would be like, well, this is the same person.
Yeah, that's true. And we have learned that just recently the American government is not good with records. Well, I mean, they've been accused of that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not necessarily they're not. Yeah, I could imagine that being pretty annoying to deal with. There's another one here that's by April, May, June, July 21. That person struggled with his name, didn't they? They signed up to Reddit. When I was 10, my cousins and I were shooting bottle rockets at each other and accidentally set a wheat field on fire. We were freaking out, trying to figure out how to put it out and not get into trouble. I had the bright idea to run to the creek. We didn't have any buckets, so we filled our mouths with dirty creek water and ran back and forth, spitting on the fire. My cousin thinks he swallowed a tadpole.
Such a kid logic, isn't it?
Yeah. A 10-year-old kid being like, just, I wonder if they went back multiple times. I mean, they did say they went back and forth. But me, as a kid, I'd like do that and then like go to spit on this raging fire and be like, oh, that did nothing. We're screwed. Oh boy.
No, I'd be like, take bigger mouthfuls.
Yeah, swallow tadpoles if you have to.
There's also We All Blue, who said that town in Oregon that put a bunch of dynamite into a beached whale and exploded it. Chunks of dead whale rained down all over the town for minutes after the explosion.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. That was also, I think, a kid's idea that an adult executed.
Yeah.
Kid's like, why don't we just blow it back into the ocean? And the dad's eyes widened. It's like, stick. Grab the dynamite.
Didn't realize my kid was so awesome.
Yeah. Also another one by Galactabat. When I was like 10, I walked out on a frozen pond throwing a large rock ahead of me. At about the middle, the ice broke and I went under. Not a huge pond, but deeper than my height. I tried to swim up, but couldn't find the hole in the ice. Eventually, I got a thin spot and punched through the ice, hauled myself up, and walked home dripping wet through snow. Oh my God. That's it. Isn't that to me as well? I love that kids, and being one myself at some point, like you can totally understand the nonchalance and you know, not being able to identify the risks that you're putting yourself under. You're like, I'm just having a bit of fun throwing this rock in front of me while I walk across the pond. Like, none of those things are necessary. A, walking across a pond. B, throwing a large rock in front of you. But it just seemed like a fun thing to do on your way home. Anyway, crazy. Like, there's a story out there where the kid's done the exact same thing and then died, and that's become a news story somewhere. And you're like, why? What was he doing? How did this happen? Maybe he didn't know he was on the pond. Like, no, he fucking knew, and he was throwing a rock in front of him. Like, that's what happened.
It was just gross negligence, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I found one last one here that I thought was very funny from Majestic Pen 8800. Many years ago, I was really high, and for reasons best known to myself at the time, I successfully bid for a fully serviceable Rolls-Royce Avon jet engine on eBay.
That's pretty funny. I would love when it turns up at your house and you're like, oh boy, this is not good.
How much would that have cost, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that seems
Fully
like the kind of purchase that would also probably make quite a dent in your bank account.
Yeah.
If you were like a young guy, maybe at uni or something studying, and you're like, oh my God, I just spent thousands and thousands of dollars on this jet engine.
Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have used my college fund. Oh boy. Yeah, that is pretty funny. It's pretty sick though too, you know. Like, I get it. I get if that popped up on eBay, I'd be like, yeah.
If we're like on the sick meter, it's up there with blowing up a whale back into the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They should have jet engined the whale back. All right. Let's move on, Kembo, and get into Today I Advise. So now it's time for Today I Learned. What's the intro to that? Today I Learned. And also sometimes advice. This Today I Learned was cross-posted to us by Cynic728, but it was originally by Yulka. Today I learned Kurt Richter found that rats placed in water drowned within 15 minutes, unless they were rescued once. After experiencing a brief rescue, those same rats swam for over 60 hours, driven by the hope of being saved again. This suggests that hope alone can push us beyond our limits.
Wow, that's so interesting.
It's so cool, isn't it?
The idea that, knowing it's possible will more tenfold your drive to actually achieve something.
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's really fascinating. It's sort of like that. There was I think a comment I saw on this one afterwards that had a similar story about prisoners of war who are in a concentration camp. I can't remember which war or when, but the story was this guy noted that anybody who had something to live for, like family or whatever, they were able to sort of hold out longer and, were less likely to kind of break because they had that hope that they would see their families again or, continue on their life. It's just such a interesting mentality, something that I think probably gets overlooked a lot, the idea of hope and why that's important. And I think it actually, to me, I instantly thought about the idea that that's why perhaps as an atheist religion has lasted so long, because ultimately you could say religion gives hope. Like that's kind of the idea of religion, that it provides hope in some way. And I thought, maybe there's like a stronger power here altogether, that when somebody is believes in that that cause so much, that religion and what it's preaching so much that it gives you hope, then there's no reason to sort of you don't want to not believe that in that anymore.
Yeah.
The hope is so strong for whatever else, an afterlife, a better something or other, a purpose for everything. Yeah, it's interesting.
The cynical part of my brain thinks, though, as two childless men as we are with no want to have kids, that if we found ourselves drowning, we'd be like, oh, well.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Who's going to miss me?
What's the point? What's the point?
I
of
put
trying?
myself here.
Yeah. I could tread water for hours, or I could just die now.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty funny. Also kind of sad when you think about how many rats might have died
for science.
For science.
Yeah.
Thanks, rats.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. We obviously it hasn't really like impacted our lives. We didn't develop anything for it, like a cure for cancer or stuff or anything like that. We kind of just got this bit of information. They're like, interesting. Thanks for dying for that little interesting thought that we've had. Fascinating, really.
That has amused us some. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is adjacent to it, but it's an interesting rat experiment fact, but it also ties into my love, which is movies.
Yeah.
There is a movie called The Abyss by James Cameron, and there is a scene that has now been removed because it is deemed as cruelty toward animals. But I find the fascination behind it really interesting, to the point where I'm like, I learned about this through the movie. And in the movie, it's set underwater in like a mining vessel, like deep in the sea.
Yeah.
In the abyss, if you will. And there's this liquid that they have, which is a real liquid that is like oxygenated, which means you can breathe it.
I remember that.
And the way he shows it is he has a rat in a cage and he puts it into the water. And the rat struggles and struggles and then suddenly realizes it can breathe and starts breathing calmly.
Yeah.
And they've had to remove that scene now because it's real. That is a real thing that they did in the movie to prove that you could do it.
Oh,
then
that's
of course
so crazy.
The act, because you can't get a rat to act like it thinks it's going to drown and then breathe calmly. Like you just can't train
CGI.
But it's funny because all the humans that then put it in their mask, that is all fake. Like they did not make them do that. But it's been removed. And it's one of those things where it's like, it is pretty cruel to do that to a rat.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's genuinely fascinating to the point where I'm like, that is, I think, a really interesting thing. And I'm sad that people will never kind of know it.
Yeah. It is so crazy. Like, I don't think I have a very good memory, but I remember that scene vividly too. Because it was so jarring. I had no idea that it was real though. I mean, now that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember the visual effects in that movie later on, and they did not, they weren't even good for the time, I don't think. So yeah, that does make sense. But yeah, that's crazy. That just like to get off topic. That gel thing is so interesting.
Well,
like
the
the
thing
liquid and what, because it's meant to stop compression, right? Like so you can go
something like that. Yeah,
really deep,
yeah.
but your body doesn't have like it's got the density of the water around it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
one of the things that movie came out in like late 80s, early 90s. I think late 80s.
Yeah,
And it's one of those things where watching it now, you're like, why isn't this everywhere?
yeah,
It's so true. They had that back then.
Yeah.
I would have thought you'd be seeing this everywhere. This seems like magic, I'll be honest.
I think it's because they saw the rat.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that looks uncomfortable. No, thank you. It's, yeah.
It's one of those things as well. It's like people are upset because the rat was slightly upset for a few minutes, and that can be distressing.
Yeah.
Should never look up the production of the chariot race in Ben-Hur.
Oh, yeah.
They still show that in its full entirety, and many, many horses and people died.
Yeah. It's funny how we get uppity about certain things, don't we? Like Ben-Hur,
It's
they're
because
like,
you
oh,
don't
they
see-
didn't know then. They didn't know that.
But it's also
killing
because you don't
horses-
see the horse deaths. It's just something you know when you're watching
Right,
it. You're like,
yeah.
oh, God, so many horses died.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing it, so it's fine.
It's totally okay. Out of sight, out of mind, as they
Yeah.
say.
But I'm seeing this rat be in distress for 10 to 15 seconds. I simply cannot.
Yeah, that's true. So how about, just for example, how should we feel when we read a Reddit post about somebody drowning rats? I'm not seeing it. I am hearing about it.
Yeah, I think you should feel positive and leave positive reviews.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Remember, we got that moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Hope is a big driver.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And we hope that you leave a positive review.
Yeah. Or we'll drown another rat. All right, let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
I just thought about the idea of hope and people leaving us a review, and like, is that why we're going? Because do we have hope that maybe this podcast will turn itself around at some point?
No, people that have listened to this for a long time will know. I think the backstory of this podcast, if memory serves, is I think we're cursed by a wizard. Is that
yeah. We have actually lost all hope.
Yeah.
There is no hope to be found here.
The nice review would just be something that would get us through the dark, dreary days of podcasting.
Yeah. All right. This shower thought was cross-posted to us by Gone Fish Caking, but it was originally by Wild Soapbox. I don't think that I would be able to recognize my genitals in an album of genitals. Do you think this is true? I think this might be true. It depends how big the album is, I guess.
Yeah. It's I think that I'm fine by saying I think I have a pretty stock standard set.
Yeah, that's why I think it'd be so much harder to identify, because you'd be like, well, it's not going to be, I can flick through all the large ones. But, when the stock standard one comes out, and also I feel like there's a slight shade difference in skin tone.
Yeah.
And so I think like if I'm not comparing, at the moment. Somebody just hands me a folder.
Yeah.
And it's like, your genitals are in here somewhere. I'm flicking through. I might get to one where I'm like, well, I think that, skin tone maybe is actually not quite right here. It's a little bit darker, but it could be mine.
Yeah. Well, especially because, like, I'm so sorry. Like skin contracts and expands on a penis. So when it's contracted, when it's more flaccid, it does tend to also the pigment tends to be a bit darker. So and I'm assuming, by the way, that this album is flaccid penises.
You know what? Maybe it's one of both.
Oh.
2 images on each page.
Yeah.
Just to give you a real good understanding.
It would be, I can tell you now, I've very recently, just the other day, watched the movie 28 Years Later.
Yeah.
And that does involve some full frontal male nudity.
Yeah.
And there's one guy in there that I guarantee you would be like, that's mine. That's definitely mine, that one. Look at that.
He's happy with that.
He's pretty. Not only is he happy with it, going to Letterboxd reviews and everyone's happy with it. Everyone's like, holy moly.
Was that one of the main cast?
No, it's not one of the main cast.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's way more believable then.
Yeah.
Like, it's the main cast. It's like, he's been like, hey, in my contract, you have to make me well endowed. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
Mine angles slightly to my right. That would be something that I could pick up on, perhaps.
Do you think what I'll do, just in case this ever comes up, because I'm now scared this will be a position I'm put in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to, like, shave my pubes into a really unique pattern or something.
Yeah.
Because the penis alone will not identify it. I need other identifying markers. Or get it like a tattoo or something.
Oh, a tattoo. I've like maybe a little mustache right on the end. I think that could look good.
Yeah, that could look good.
Yeah. All right. This next one was cross-posted to us by Cynic728, but it was originally by Cuisine Gizmo. You never notice your tongue until someone mentions it, like right now.
Thank you for those wet mouth noises, Nelson.
I've got the new mic, Cambo. Imagine if I had the old mic. People would be like, "Oh, that was far too disgusting." Now it's just tolerable.
It's similar to that fact that whenever anyone points out that your tongue actually rests on the roof of your mouth when it's closed, really freaks me out. Whenever, like, because in your mind you always picture your tongue being at the bottom of your mouth.
Yeah.
But when it's closed, it is actually kind of like compressed between the two, and you can feel it at the top of your mouth as well.
Yeah, I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Now you will.
I think we need to end the episode. I got some thinking to do.
Oh, man.
I wanted to add a little bit of information to this one because I thought it was quite funny. When I clicked on this, Cynic 728 cross-posted to it, obviously, clicked on the link, and the post was removed from the moderators.
Okay.
And occasionally they'll have a reason why it was removed. The reason why this post was removed was because of rule number 5, no misinformation. I reckon one of the mods was like, you never notice your tongue until someone mentions it, like right now. Well, no, I think about my tongue all the time.
Yeah, I do notice my tongue.
Misinformation. What?
I know I say this knowing that technically we are Reddit mods for one very underperforming subreddit.
Yeah, occasionally I'll remove a spam post. That's
Reddit mods, some of them really are a very unique breed.
Yeah, we can say it. They're the worst.
They are the embodiment of actually.
Yeah, that's right. It attracts them. It's like, I think, a lot of positions of power. It's a lot of like police
people
that, get the job and you're like, you're not, you probably shouldn't be in this position. Yeah, you don't have. You're in this for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And Reddit mods, there isn't even a vetting process. You know? It's basically like, hey, you want to be one? You spend a lot of your life on Reddit. That should actually be a red flag. When you're like, I'm on Reddit all the time, then you can't be a mod. I'm sorry, it's not for you.
And it's like the trade-off of if you're a cop or a politician, whatever, like you're doing it for power. The power that you wield as the moderator of Shower Thoughts on Reddit is so small.
Oh, Cambo, that's what you think.
Yeah, that's true. Watch every post I ever post on there get removed now.
Yeah, exactly. They can ruin your world. All right, we should. No, you know what? I'm going to really quickly do this last one. Okay. I think it's kind of funny. It was cross-posted. It was by Gone Fish Caking, but it was originally by Zimbajibus. The chapstick industry is built on losing chapstick. I reckon, honestly, I've seen more chapstick that has clearly been lost than anyone applying chapstick in my life ever. I'm extending this to like lip balm in general of sorts. I'm like, I've seen lost lip balm more than I've seen people apply lip balm. That's what I think.
Yeah. Do you think there was that situation in the R&D lab of the chapstick company?
Yeah.
Where they go, here's our proposed model of what we think a chapstick should be. Someone said, oh, but if we made it bigger, you'd probably get a little bit more per person, and it would probably, it's very small. You could easily be lost. And then they go, oh, dear. We wouldn't want that, would we? Then they all start cackling.
Yeah. And they've actually developed a model that went too far, and it was just like an oily surface on the outside. Oh, people are going to lose these instantly. Yeah. The one guy suggested like a little grip on the side, and he got fired.
He was fired. No. And no one's ever seen him again.
Yeah. All right, Cameron, let's get into podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic, a conversation, or a segment from another thing, and we do it ourselves. This week is my week, and thank bejesus. Tilly has written in. Tilly has written in and given me a podnapping. She actually said it was for the first, just anyone who opens it. That was in the first email, and then the second email they said, I think this is Cambo's turn, so Nelson piss off, but
Yeah, you just happened to be on the week.
Yeah.
Because we had pre-recorded mine before.
We only did one. Normally we do two in a row, and it would have been your weekend. But anyway, it's my week. So also, thank you very much. This podnapping it's called Don't Say It. I don't know. The aim of the game is for one of you to describe objects in the photos I have attached without saying what the object is.
Okay.
And the other one of you has to try and guess the object without seeing the photo. Hint, object is a broad term, and some of these photos are more of a scene. I was thinking that it could be quite... Some of these I think could be easy. So I'm kind of just going to be even vague with my own descriptions.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll see how we go. Okay.
So you have a series of photos you're going to describe to me, and I need to work out what the photo is.
Yeah, I can't say exactly what it is. Okay. This first one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I see the problem here. There's a vessel.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It contains things.
Mm-hmm. Can you confirm if I get parts of it correct, though?
We'll see
if I say, is the vessel a car, can you say yes or no?
I guess, I suppose I could say no, guide you in the right direction.
Okay, not a car. Yeah. Okay, so there's a vessel.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't use the word vessel. Anyway, it's a vessel. It contains things. Some of these things are round.
Is it an egg carton?
No.
Okay.
Some of these things are more oblongish. Some are spiky. There's one spiky thing. Also, various colors. I think that's a good clue, actually.
Okay, one spiky thing, some round, some oblong.
You know what? Don't focus on the spiky thing. I gave it too much attention. That's
Different,
gonna throw up.
but different colors.
Yeah, lots of different colors.
Okay.
Each thing kind of has its own color-ish, I guess. And the things are piled on top of each other too. And okay, yeah. The thing that it's in, the vessel that it's in, is I'm using a word that Tilly said I could use. Is woven.
Is woven.
Yes.
Is it fruit basket?
It's a fruit basket, Cambo.
Yeah.
You've nailed it. I realized that saying spiky thing, at the top of a pineapple, that could really throw you off. And I regret saying it. Okay, here's the next one.
Yeah.
There are several buttons. No, not buttons. Knobs.
Okay.
Several knobs.
Yep.
On this. Thing. Also, it has drawers. Not drawers. Trays. It has trays. I'm not good at this. It has trays.
So there's buttons, not buttons, they're knobs, and it has drawers, they're not drawers, they're trays.
They're trays. Yeah.
Okay.
It has a door. That is a door. The door that it opens horizontally. That is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you pull it down.
Yeah, yeah. Is it like a VCR player?
Oh, no. Way too many buttons, Cambo. Knobs. We're talking about knobs here, okay? No buttons. Nobody said buttons. I don't know why you thought about buttons, okay?
So, I'm assuming like you pull the door to is it an oven?
It is an oven.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Good job. Okay. This next one. Okay. I have to be vague, I guess, because I don't know. It's like you can't say the thing, but I feel like if I just said the object. Okay, this is tricky. All right. There are poles.
Yeah. Are they poles?
What? Yeah, there are poles.
Yeah.
There are poles. I can confirm.
Okay.
I'm gonna sort of slowly describe this, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there are poles.
There are poles, and they're at like an angle towards each other, kind of leaning towards each other, and they meet at the top. So they create like a triangle kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then there's like a bar across the top, and there's chains that hang down. 4 chains that hang down from the bar at the top. So you've got like 2 poles at one end, 2 poles at the other.
Yeah.
A pole that runs across the top, and then chains that run down.
Is it like I don't know what the right word is, but like a monkey bar style? Like what do you call it? Yeah, I can picture the thing you're talking about.
The classic version.
It's in like an American Ninja Warrior and stuff.
No, you're thinking too complicated. Way too complicated. A really simple version of this.
You said there's chains hanging down.
Where would you find the monkey bars?
At a gym. A playground.
Yeah. Okay. What else would you find?
Oh, a swing.
A swing. Okay. That's part of it.
Okay,
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. On the swing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to like describe this without describing it. There's a lot of gray hair. I don't know. I'm trying I don't know.
Okay, on the swing.
Not say exactly what it is. Yeah. There's some
Like fur?
fleshy things. Okay, I don't know how to do this.
Are you trying to say old person?
Yes, there's old people.
Is it old people on a swing?
Yes, that's it. You got it.
So there's a lot of grey hair and fleshy things.
I wasn't sure if it meant to be like there's people on there.
Yeah.
And then anyway, you got it. We nailed it. Okay, this next one. There's two more. Okay. This is something that you can put in your computer.
Okay.
And
A CD.
no,
You can't really
It's
do that anymore.
much smaller.
Okay.
And
A USB.
Yes, that's part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say what would you call that? Like, so that the USB is like the connecting part, and I'd say the early days of USB, they were connected to a particular like device, something that people used a lot. What?
In early days.
Like they had a name, like when you were like, hey,
Like a USB stick? Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay,
okay.
right.
Now, I'm just gonna lead you there in a kind of weird way. What was another name, more like colloquial kind of name, I guess, for a USB stick?
Oh God.
Like when
Flash drive.
ooh, getting closer. Even more
A USB drive?
drive is the right word.
Okay. Hard drive.
No. Still getting okay. It's an appendage. Is what people would call it.
Oh, thumb drive.
Thumb drive.
Thumb drive.
Okay, now the last part of this.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This image is a pun.
So it is a thumb with a USB sticking out the back.
You got it.
Yeah.
We did it. Okay. Last picture. Also, couple of knobs in this one.
Yeah.
And they're wearing sunglasses. And they're on a train. And looks like probably a Melbourne train. Definitely.
This is us.
Yeah, it's us.
This is us going to the races in like 2007 or something.
Why is this picture out there?
I don't.
I have the worst mustache in the world. It's terrible. It's like one of those like tiny French mustaches.
Yeah.
But you can tell that that's only because I couldn't grow enough facial hair to.
But you don't need to be insecure anymore, Nelson. You have quite a good beard now.
Yeah, well, it's given me, fear my whole life of ending up looking like this again. So I've desperately tried to grow it out.
Yes. So this is a photo of you and I on a train going to the Melbourne Cup, I think. Or no, I don't think it was Melbourne Cup. It was just a different horse race in Melbourne. Which
like Oaks Day or something like that.
Something like that.
Well, that's Ladies' Day, so obviously we went.
Days where people dress up trying to look sophisticated, but if you ever see any video from them, are just absolutely fucking wild.
Just young people getting real drunk
and ruining the field that they're staying on. Just absolutely like trashing it.
It's the worst.
Yeah. And also, like, just ethically, I'm quite against the horse racing now.
It's weird. All right. That was it. So thank you for that, Tilly. Thank you for the photos. That's a good one. I liked that.
Yeah, that was fun.
And that's actually all we have for today. If you would like to write into us, though, and give me podnappings, you can
hang on.
podcast. Okay, everyone just remember that next week, it's Cambo. Then the week after, it's me. Oh, but we might record a double. Oh.
So send them in just in case, and if I get them, I get them.
In the subject line, say, attention, Nelson. But you can write into us, readitpodcast, readitpodcast at gmail.com. You can also reach us at our subreddit or the Discord. The link is in the show notes. We'd also appreciate it if you could subscribe, and
Give
we
us hope.
hope that you rate the show 5 stars.
Yeah.
But we know that you will rate it 5 stars.
We hope, but we also know the threat of violence will encourage you to rate it 5 stars.
Well, not to you, to rats, obviously.
To rats,
We've
oh,
made
yeah,
that
yeah.
clear. We will drown so many rats. We'll be in the news. You'll hear about it. Why did they do this? They didn't get good ratings. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will read you later.